Hey, welcome back to the channel, everyone. We're glad to have you back. So 3 years ago, I made a video about this plant, the Florida beautyberry, and I said that maybe one day I'll make some jam with these berries. Well, today's the day. We're going to harvest the berries off of the plant, and then we're going to make some jam from them. First things first, though, I wanted just to, if you haven't seen my other video, you might want to check it out, how to identify one of these. But if you haven't, I just wanted to take a quick second and let you guys know exactly how to identify these plants. Now, the only other plant I can think of that you might possibly mistaken the beautyberry for is the pokeberry. And if you ever heard of poke salad, and maybe I'll do a video one day of that. That comes from the pokeberry plant. And that plant is a little different, but in regards to this Florida beautyberry, if you take a quick look, you'll notice that the leaves on this, they're a little scaly, they're a little fuzzy. Underneath, you can see what the backside of this looks like. It's a little, real veiny and everything. You'll notice that the berries on the Florida beautyberry, they grow directly on the stalk of the plant. So you can see they grow directly on them. They're in bundles and bunches. They kind of grow right out of each other, it looks like. And you have, most of the time, if you can see, you have a leaf that's growing directly out of these bundles or these clusters of berries. So that's kind of a good way you can identify these. They're completely edible. You can pull these off and eat them, and they're not going to hurt you. Anyway, that's how to identify them. Next, I'll show you how to get these berries off easily. All right, so once you've identified your plant, you know what you're picking. The next thing you're going to want to do is get your bowl, and you're going to want to start harvesting these. Now, you'll notice that for the most part, these are all, they look like they're all ripe. When they're not, they'll be a little bit green. And most of the time, from what my experience has been, you'll see that they grow from the back of the stalk all the way to the tip. And a lot of times they'll start to ripen way back here, and they'll sort of go on a pattern and ripen all the way to the front. So when they're at the very front ripe, then it's time to start picking. Most of these are harvest time is around fall. So we know fall's getting ready to come when I see that my beautyberry plants are full. So what we'll do to harvest these, real easy. You just take these little clusters that you see here, and you just can start kind of giving it a little squeeze, and they'll start falling right into your bowl. Now what we're going to want to get, we're going to want to harvest about 6 cups of these, because I want to make about between 40 to 48 ounces. So in order to do that, I'm going to need about 6 cups, just from what I've done before. And notice I'm kind of trying to be careful so that I don't crush or break these. I'm trying to just kind of give them a little bit of a rub, so that way they'll come right off. So what you see here is about 6 cups. I've got this thing completely full to the top, and berries are starting to fall out, so I don't want to get any more. You can see there's still quite a few berries left on just this section of the tree. So I just harvested from this corner to just about right there where you could see, and there's still some berries left on here. Now you should be able to get plenty of beautyberries, and that took 30 minutes, right at 30 minutes for me to harvest all this. So just know that it takes about 30 minutes to harvest 6 cups. So next we'll get these in a bucket and wash them, and then we'll get ready for jam. All right, so now that you have your 6 cups of beautyberries, What I normally like to do is just rinse them out. So I'm just going to use my Cannon bucket just to give them a good rinse and get these berries nice and clean, and try and pick all the stems out. I don't really have any bugs or anything that I can see or tell in them. Look how beautiful these are though. Such pretty color. And so we're going to get these rinsed off, and you guys should have smelled whenever I was picking these. You can definitely smell it's got a real floral type smell to them, so just real nice. But we're going to get these rinsed off and then start the jamming. Look at this, nice and pretty. All right, welcome to my 1970s kitchen, everyone. So we're going to go over the ingredients needed and the equipment that you'll need to make beautyberry jelly for yourself at home. So of course we need about 6 cups of our beautyberries. We overpicked a little bit. I thought I used this bowl before, but evidently it was a different bowl. So we picked 12 cups out of that little section of berries that we picked from. And that's what we picked out of there. 6 cups and then about 6 more in this bowl. So a total of 12. Look how pretty those beautyberries are though. So we need about 6 cups of that. I'll set this aside and maybe make some more later. So we need 6 cups of the beautyberries. We need 8 cups of water, so I have that. We need 4.5 cups of sugar. And then we're gonna use about 2 lemons. I'm gonna take and cut this and squeeze it into the juice. That'll help kickstart that pectin and get it, helping it to gel. It'll also enhance the flavor, and it'll make that that color stand out a little bit. So we're gonna do that. As far as another ingredient, I saw this on another channel that a lady was making jelly, and her name was Tammy, and I can't remember the name of her channel, but she used about a cup in her actual pot that she put the jars in. So she said it helped keep these jars from getting like calcification on the outside of it. It helped them stay real shiny and clean, so I'm gonna try that tip. All right, so about 6 cups of beautyberries will yield about 48 ounces of jelly. All right, so for equipment needed, we have a pot for our jars, we have a pot for the berries, we have a strainer like this, and a cheesecloth that we're gonna set on top of that. This is gonna catch any of those seeds. There's really small seeds, skin, and any of the stems and things like that. We're gonna need another pot that we're gonna set this on top of to strain all that out. And then we're going to catch all that mixture, and then we're gonna put it back into the main pot. Then what we're gonna have about 8 of these 4-ounce jars, and then I have 2 of these 8-ounce jars. So like I said, about 40 to 48 ounces is what I can expect to render from all of this. So this is what we're going to use for that. And then to pour the mixture into those jars, we're going to use this dipper. I'm going to use this spoon to stir it, and I'm going to use just a butter knife to, it's going to be our debubbler. So we're going to use this as a debubbler. They sell them in the stores, but I can use this just the same. So that's really all the main equipment that we need. So let's get started. Add our 8 cups of water. Our 6 cups of beautyberries. And then we're going to bring that to a boil for about 20 minutes. All right, we're about 15 minutes in, and you can see what this looks like. Most of these berries have lost their color now, and it's mostly in the liquid. The berries are turning that lighter color. So we'll leave this in for just a little bit longer, let it keep boiling, and then we'll strain this off. Let's go ahead and strain this off. Wish y'all could smell this. It smells so good. It smells about like marshmallows or something. So it's all strained off. Now, we're not going to squeeze this out. We're just going to lift this up. You know, sometimes when you squeeze all the juice out, in some things, it can make it bitter and too strong. And also, it'll make it cloudier so that it won't, you know, you won't get that real pretty color. So we're just going to lift this off and set it to the side for now. And then we're going to take 3 cups of this juice and put it back over in our pot. We're back at our original pot and we're going to put 3 cups of this juice back in. We got her up to a boil, so we're going to add our pectin in. Just going to open this up and add the whole thing. And I'm going to go ahead and add this lemon juice now. You can see the color's looking pretty good. So we're going to let that get to a boil again, and then we're going to add the sugar. So it's back to a boil, so I'm going to go ahead and add the 4.5 cups of sugar that we talked about. 4. There's the half. Now I'm going to stir that up a little bit, let that dissolve. While this sugar's dissolving, we're going to get this water up to a boil here. And once that happens, we're going to let it boil for about 2 minutes. While we're waiting on that to happen, we're going to go ahead and drop our jars and our lids down into the water bath. All right, so these are those jars and lids down in the water bath. I'm going to go ahead and pull them back out. They should be nice and hot. So we're going to go ahead and start pouring this stuff. There we go. I'm pretty tough, but that stuff's pretty hot. All right, let's try this. And I got a little bit left. To tell you what I'm going to do. Put it in a jar like this. And I'll have this over biscuits or something. Now I'm going to fish these lids out. Got all these lids out. And now we're going to start putting those back on the jars. And we're just going to do them fingertip tight. I'm going to put the Gorilla Twist on it. Just fingertip tight. I tend to put the Gorilla Twist on it. So I have to remind myself every time. Also, these things are nice and hot. So if you guys are doing it, remember that. So next up, they're gonna go back in the bath. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring this to a boil, and then we're gonna put them back in the bath for about 5 minutes, and then we're gonna remove them. And then my favorite part comes up where we get to hear these jars sing. All right, guys, let's get these jars back in the bath. And this little bit that I have, I'm just going to put that in the refrigerator, and I can have that over ice cream, or I can put it on a biscuit or something. It'll be so nice. I almost forgot to add my apple cider vinegar. All right, that's supposed to keep the jars nice and pretty so that you don't have any of that calcified water built up on the back. I have well water, and it's really good. But, you know, you still get a little bit of calcium deposits on the outside of these things, and this stuff's supposed to help with that. 5 minutes on the jars, and then we'll pull them out. All right, it's been about 5 minutes, so let's get this out of the pot. beautyberry jam, 100% homemade and not bad for a plant that grows in the woods or in your backyard or out in the park somewhere. If you like these videos, remember to hit that like, subscribe, and comment, and let me know if you want to see something else. We'll see you guys later in the next video. Thank you.